What's going on, Dolphins? It's your boy Dillon. So, well, some of you, who watch my show may be wondering why I'm doing a video from what appears to be, my home when I'm supposed to be in Vegas. So, as some of you may recall, I recently made a public service announcement video, informing you guys that a very tumultuous and troubled life may soon be coming to an end. I was, of course, talking about myself, and today I have another unfortunate PSA to give similar to the last one. First, in accordance with my deeply held principles, I feel obligated to be as honest and upfront with my viewers as possible. By the way, in case you can't tell, I wrote this all out because I wanted to try and make it as, succinct and to the point and stuff as possible. But I have a few things that I wanted to say. So I am reading through this, but also trying to, keep it as natural as possible. But, anyway, so like I said, I got to be as honest and upfront with you guys as possible. And so before I begin, I must forewarn you guys, though, that this message will not be pleasant, and it will allude to the possibly triggering subject of suicide. As some of you may also know, I did have plans, as I, briefly mentioned already, to take a trip to Vegas for the weekend for the draft. And, but in addition to that, because my life has been getting to such a desperate time, with things going on in my personal life or whatever, desperate measures have become necessary for me to figure out a way to turn my life around in a hurry, or they had. So, just real quick, in that previous, PSA I had talked about, it was like, I don't know, a month or so ago now, or a month and a half ago now, maybe 2 months ago now. It was a little while ago now, but I had talked about, towards the beginning of the year, that this year is kind of a make or break for me, and I got to figure things out. Otherwise, I'm probably going to end up homeless, and my life is essentially over at that point. And so, things have been getting really desperate, and I've been trying to really figure out a way to find something that is going to get me independent, in a hurry, because I don't have a lot of time and I have nowhere else to go after here. And, here is I currently stay with my father after my ex and I broke up, at the beginning of 2018. I've been living back with him, and obviously then the pandemic hit, and I've been here ever since. Obviously I had to quit my job because of the pandemic, went on unemployment. Unemployment's been gone now for a little while, and I've been 100% dependent on my father. But, he's not going to be able to support me for much longer, and then I have nowhere else to go. So things have been, really desperate lately, and I've been trying to figure it out. So, I figured, hey, listen, I'm going to be in Vegas, and if I'm keeping it real, because like I said, I keep it honest with you guys, and I'm actually just kind of improvising here a little bit. This is actually stuff I didn't write down, but, whatever. It is kind of important context. Like, I just figured, like, I watched the Fast and the Furious recently, and there was a scene in one of the movies that gave me some inspiration. I'm like, hey, look, because recently my dad and I had been talking, and we decided that maybe taking a trip and just doing something could be an opportunity. Give me an opportunity, to get out of the house and just figure something out, right? So we decided that he was going to help me to take a trip to Vegas for the draft. And then after that, I had gained some inspiration. And so basically, I had devised a very elaborate and detailed plan to win a substantial amount of money playing roulette in the evenings after the draft festivities. And it was really in depth. I had, over the past month, I'd really poured into it, put a ton of work into it, and came up with a relatively sound plan. Now, I'm not gonna, here, look, just real quick, I'm not gonna, I'm not going to go through it in super detail, but, just to show you, like, I came up with, first of all, I mean, here's the base plan. I was going to start off with, a certain amount, and I was going to work my way through it. You probably, without me explaining it, you probably don't know what any of this stuff means, but just to kind of show you, just to give you an idea, like, I did all of this stuff to plan out how I was going to intricately do this while also minimizing, as much risk as possible. But I had never done anything like this before. And of course, at the end of the day, it was all just kind of a desperation move anyway. And so, I had one chance at it and whatever. And, it is what it is. So, but anyway, to continue on though, I devised this plan. And actually, things had been going pretty well. So the plan had basically involved, as I kind of just showed you guys, a calculated method of making bets by betting only on red or black. None of the numbers, any of that stuff, only focusing on red and black because it gives you a base probability of roughly 50%, just under 50%. And then, based off of the historical data, right, the recent spins, which all of these casinos, they actually show you like the last like 20 spins, right? And so based off of probability and stuff like that, if you know what you're doing, I figured, hey, you could probably figure out a way to make it work in your favor and, set yourself up for success. So it was based on that, the laws of probability, recent history of spins, and it was only, it was supposed to be over the course of 4 nights, right? The 4 nights that I was there, and it only was supposed to require a few wins per night, with a very small amount of entry draft capital. I only needed $100 to start, and I had all these different ways, these, measures put in place, all these different things that I had planned out in order to like hedge my risks and so on and so forth. And like I said, it's kind of hard to know what I just showed you, but like some of the stuff in there was designed to like bank some of my winnings, going in between, each night. And then, blah, 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 blah. And then alternating, every time I bet, I would alternate my winnings into a bank. I would put some of it away and then I would up my bet the next time. And then that's how I would increase my bet and then therefore increase my winnings. And then so on and so forth. I'm sure, if you guys look at the little portion I just showed you again. I mean, here, look, I'll even bring it back up, I guess, just really quick. I mean, this is all the stuff that I wrote out, but like, I had plans in place to fucking, so just real quick, the first night, I start with 100, win 100, put it into what I called the little bank. I actually had my dad gave me $500 in initial capital to use. And, the plan was take out 100, win 100, put 100 into the little bank. And then bet again with 100, win that, put that into the bank, win 100 again, then increase my pot. And then my winnings would be 200. And then as you can see in the big picture, it would just continue on that cycle and eventually work your way up to, betting with a substantial amount of money. And then, so on and so forth, whatever. Anyway, so that was basically the plan. And as it turns out, as it had started, things were actually going really well. Like everything, the trip, everything in regard to the trip was going really well. Getting the hotel put together, the car, all of that stuff. My dad was like, I love my dad and I know that he loves me or whatever, but, and I don't need to get into this, but our relationship, especially recently, has been really rocky and he's always been pretty absent in my life and hasn't done very much for me in a lot of different ways, especially when it comes to like emotional development, emotional support and growth over the course of my life and teaching me what it's like to be a man or how to navigate through the world. Like I've had to learn a lot of that stuff on my own. And for the first time, he's actually supported what I wanted, a plan that I had, things that I wanted to do. He's actually been really supportive of, me doing the stuff with my channel recently, even helping me to improve it a little bit. And so, I really appreciated that. But, unfortunately, it's a little bit too late, as it would seem. But, all the planning and stuff had been going really well. And then even, up through the first night and a half that I was there. So anyway, let me stop riffing now and let me just go through the rest of this, because honestly, it's all really depressing and I just want to get through it. But I wanted to make a video and I wanted to let you guys know, because like I said, I mean, it's just my core based principles to be upfront and honest. And if I'm being honest, it crossed my mind to just like fade off the map and just never make a video again and just, go about the last months of my life to the best of my ability until my time runs out and you guys just never hear from me again. But I couldn't do that. I had to say something and make something. So here it is. So let me finish this and say what I got to say. So anyway, the trip was supposed to last, obviously, from Wednesday, April 27th until Sunday, May 1st. I was going a day early before the draft, and then I was going to leave the day after. Everything had been going really well over the month or so of planning that I had, straight through the first night and a half of my stay. After arriving in Vegas on Wednesday, I had successfully executed my goals for the first night at the casino. And on night 2, I was on track through the first half of my evening until things came crashing down. So, like I said, the first night went really well and things were going really well the second night, and it just kind of fell through from there. All in all, for various reasons, both my plans of attending the draft events and becoming financially independent fell through in spectacular fashion. I'm not going to bore you with all the details. I'm pretty sure most people don't even really want to hear this sob story. But like I said, I just felt obligated to say something and not just disappear. So anyway, unfortunately, disappointment is what I'm used to most in life. And right on cue, my plans of desperation dissolved and ultimately forced me back to LA a couple of days early. I actually ended up driving back yesterday evening. Yeah, anyway, so as mentioned in the last PSA, I could have as far as the first, as it stands now, with my most recent life failing, I am on the precipice of losing my place of residence. As mentioned in the last PSA, I could have as far as the first of the year, but as other things have developed around me, some of the stuff with my dad and we also live with another person, family friend of ours, things going on with them because I'm dependent on them right now, I could actually have a much shorter timetable. Unfortunately, when I lose my place to live, I will have also lost the very last bit of foundation and support structure to my life. I will be without a home, a car, a job, money. I only have a GED and no college degree. My resume is shit, even if I was able to somehow put one together. It's fucking terrible. I really just don't have any friends or any further support network after this. Once my dad is unable to take care of me anymore and help support me to help me get on my feet, then I have nothing left. I've been kicked out of the military and I've recently filed for bankruptcy over the past few years, just to scratch the surface and name a few things that have gone wrong for me in my life. But again, I'm sure most people probably don't care about this. I'm just kind of speaking to the ether, but it's been rough. As long as I can remember, my life has been inundated with hardship after hardship, loneliness, isolation, and nonstop mental and emotional anguish. As I've gotten older, I've also accrued some injuries and physical ailments that have expedited the deterioration of my physical and mental health. With no one to even talk to or get my back, I have always found a way to fight through and make it to the next stage. But at this point, I am broken and exhausted and at the very end of my rope and rapidly losing the will or desire to wake up for the next day. Barring some unforeseen miraculous event over the next few months, it seems inevitable that I will become homeless. With all the pain and suffering I have had to endure just to get where I am today, I have no intention of living that life. When that day comes, there are plans in place to ensure that the only bright light I have left in my life, which is my cat, is taken to live somewhere I know he will be loved and taken care of before I take the end of my life into my own hands and finally get the peace, rest, and freedom from life's agony that I've been so desperately searching for and struggled to find for as long as I can remember. Before I conclude what will likely be the final video I make for my Dolphins with Dillon channel, I wish to say a couple more quick things. First, I apologize to all those out there over the course of my life that I may have failed in some way, shape, or form. I have only ever tried to work hard, be a kind and generous person, and do the right thing. I've never been perfect, but always aspired to grow and be better. And I've always just wanted to help people and make a difference in the world for the better. And sadly, it would seem that not only have I failed many people over the years, I have also failed myself. Finally, I'd like to thank anyone out there who ever did love me, believe in me, or gave me those small glimpses of happiness in an otherwise dark and desperate life. I wish everyone out there all the best and nothing but happiness, peace, and love. And for now at least, possibly forever, I say goodbye, and of course, fins up.
Miami wins it.